Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, stone the crows. Well, actually Roy is trying to shoot them with a decoy with a difference. Release the trout. We're looking at two ways of replenishing stocks of this beautiful game fish. High-speed chopper. We're out ferreting with tree surgeon and world record axeman Dave Sands. First, our Danish friend Max Hunt is on his travels again, hunting ibex in Spain. Never mind the Costas and the Canaries, Spain offers much more. It's a wonderful destination for hunting deer, boar and chamois. For this particular adventure, our friend from the mainland, Max Hunt, has driven all the way from Denmark for ibex. Max is a guest of Green Nature, a Spanish outfit based a few hundred kilometres east of Madrid. The terrain is physically demanding. This needs a similar fitness level to stalking red deer in Scotland. Max describes it as the perfect entry level for hunting in the mountains. He seems to have been bitten by the Spanish bug.
Spain is much more than just hunting. The people are so nice and passionate about the hunt. The food, the accommodation, everything is traditional, and no matter where you go, if you go to the petrol station, you see tuskers from wild boar hanging behind the desk, and the guy is standing and takes you into the working place, and he shows you big roebucks, very big roebucks hanging right next to the car, and the working tools and everything. So everything here is about hunting, and people are so passionate about it.
Max and his guide Daniel are looking for a mature male of at least 10 years old. But with 40,000 hectares to cover, it's going to take a lot of patience and looking through glassware.
In this line, down
You see the white rocks up there?
Yes.
Tell a few things about Spain. You have 4 different species of ibex?
How much? Yes, in Spain, live 4 different species of ibex: Guedos ibex, beceite ibex, Ronda, and Sierra Nevada ibex.
And Guedos is around Madrid, and Beceite is in the east, Sierra Nevada and Ronda in the south.
Okay.
I got that right? Whew. I trained that a lot.
It's not all on foot, and the disco gets a workout too. There's even call for the winch. The hunt was supposed to be a 3-day trip, but the ibex have different plans, and they're not where they're supposed to be. They seem to be moving far more at night than normal. The beautiful scenery and the thrill of the chase is keeping Max focused.
We spent 4 days tracking the animals, sitting on the hills and watching the different peaks and trying to find the animal. At this time of the year, they split up, so all the males go together and the females go together in big groups. And we only found the females every day. But today, finally, we spotted a group of big males, and they are about 2,000 meters from here at the top of that peak you see over there. The thing is, they have settled down, because ibex often go to the top and settle down where the sun is shining, there's no wind, where they feel safe because no predator is coming from above. Everything has to come up from below. And they're in the bushes, so they're very difficult to see if you get close. So the plan is now staying here, watching them and say their first movement, so we can react on their movement from here. But I can feel our patience is paying off.
Unfortunately, the group doesn't have a mature male, and it's back to square one. 2 days later, and Max is finally in the reckoning, apart from the 2 kilometres of open terrain between him and his animal. He manages to get to within just short of 200 metres, and he finally gets the crosshairs of his Zoa 202 on his beceite ibex. Max keeps his eyes trained on the mountain. It looks like the ibex has dropped in the thick bushes.
It's our 7th day today.
Yeah, today is
And we were very close to a depression, especially Daniel. No, we had some very fine days and we have seen a lot of ibex, but finding the right one is not that easy in these mountains, as you can see. We've been spotting a lot. We have seen many very good ibex, but this one we saw the first day and we have been looking for him ever since. Sharing an experience like this is even bigger. Because we will always say, do you remember, we used 6 days on trying to get the ibex, and we stalked up and we were discussing which one, the right one, he's moving now, are you ready? How far is he? The game of getting them. It's not just mine, it's our animal up there. Daniel, thank you.
They find the animal just a few yards away from where they expected to. He's a good-looking old boy and a possible silver medal.
How old is he, Daniel?
I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 years.
10 years old.
That's a perfect age, isn't it? That's it on the top.
Yeah. Because for shoot trophy is 9, minimum 9, 10 more. If it's more, much better. But with 10 years is a good moment for shoot, because the ibex in the rut, the most heavy and most strong ibex is 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah, they're strong and they become older.
Also, but with
It's just like with humans.
yes. with 11, 12, 13 years is not in the rut because
He's too old. He's tired. And this is typical beceite. Like he's very wide. He's very open.
it's very good. But the difference of the rest of the species of ibex in Spain of the beceite ibex is up, one curve, open, very open, and a little bit to the back. The normal for beceite ibex is 100% longer to the open or more.
Okay.
Or more.
Yeah, because we saw some are totally open, like the horns go like this. Yeah.
Sometimes it's possible to look one beceite ibex with very open, don't have the horns in the back, but for me,
Personal,
my opinion is a little bit to the back. The horns is nice.
Elegant.
Nice. Yeah.
It's elegant. Perfect. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, my friend.
It's been a week-long effort to get the right animal, and the hunting here has got Max all revved up. He's coming back, and apparently everyone's invited.
So if you want to experience mountain hunting, I think Spain is the right place to go. And if you should be interested in joining on a trip like this, I will be back here in the fall. So if you want to go to Spain, give me a call or send me an email at max@maxhunt.eu.
If you'd like to find out more about hunting in Spain, visit greennature.com/n. What spectacular scenery, and if you want to see more of Max's hunts, I'll put a link somewhere on the screen. If you want to see him bow hunting in Hungary on our channel, click on the screen that's appeared in the tree just up there. Now more fallow than buck. It's David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Britain News. A British politician's come under fire for killing grey squirrels. Animal rights activists are enraged after Environment Secretary Owen Paterson revealed he controls the invasive species at his home. Government agencies remain committed to getting rid of greys because the disease they carry kills our native reds. However, the director of the campaign group Animal Aid, Andrew Tyler, slammed the cruelly absurd pogrom against squirrels. Mr. Patterson is also being criticised by former Queen guitarist and now animal activist Brian May. Next, Innovations Corner. Fieldsports channel viewer Ray Cross has come up with these 2 rifle rests for use when shooting from your car. Priced at £15 and £50 from the Gunstar website, they enable shooters to turn their vehicles into stable platforms for shooting. Meanwhile, viewer Paul Dowling has come up with this bench for shooting. He's already working on it to make it lighter but retain its strength. Are you in the Hampshire area on the bank holiday weekend, the 5th and 6th of May 2013? Well, the Hampshire Game Fair, now in its 18th year, is on at the Netley Marsh Showground, 2 miles south of Junction 2 off the M27. Among attractions are a craft village with artists, designers and craftsmen, including specialist demonstrations of chainsaw carving. Visit livingheritagecountry-shows.co.uk for more details. There's a new online British deer stalking magazine. Visit countydeerstalking.co.uk for a flick through. The Countryside Alliance has asked the government to limit the amount of information on national databases concerning microchipped dogs to avoid it being used by dog thieves. From April 2016, all dogs in the UK need to be microchipped and their owners' details recorded. The Alliance has expressed concern that local authorities, veterinarians and rehoming centres will have access to the information held about our dogs. In the face of rampant rhino poaching in South Africa, some conservationists are asking for a lifting of the international ban on rhino horn trading. Along with private rhino farmers, they believe that the creation of a legal market will quell poaching. The South African government is exploring this option and could make a proposal at the 2016 CITES Convention. Now, here's a lazy duck all at sea. These pictures were sent in by viewer Chris Gore, who spotted the mallard's nest tucked out of the wind on the bow of one of his clients' yachts in Chichester Marina. However, the makeshift nest looks a bit sparse and pretty uncomfortable. And finally, a highwire raccoon. This clever chap has learned to use the local power lines to move from A to B. Or maybe the neighbour's husband has come home early and he needs to make a sharp exit. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Britain news. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Coming up, we're outfoxing crows. First, following last week's capercaillie attack on Hallo Charlie, let's see what else the world has been up to. Here's what the world's up to this week.
Hey Charlie, it's Chris in Rugby, Warwickshire. We're just out at the minute shooting some rats with the air rifles. I've got a friend who's having some problems with his guinea carpet.
Hello Charlie, I'm Tex Scribner of Tex Scribner Outdoors and I'm over here in America enjoying the sound of freedom. Sorry about that whole Revolutionary War thing, but there's a reason why we Americans decided to create the Second Amendment. God bless y'all and have a wonderful day.
Hello Charlie, Dave Cullen from sunny Catterick. Just helping a farmer out with a little bit of pest control on one of his freshly drilled fields. Check this out. Free lessons. Please send Dom up.
Hello Charlie, this is Essex Bushcraft, Essex UK, and this week I am studying primitive weapons from across the world with my new friend.
Send us your own Hallo Charlie. Film yourself on your mobile phone, just a sentence saying Hallo Charlie, who you are and what you're up to. Then share it or email it via YouTube, Facebook, Dropbox, or you send it, you name it, to charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Please keep them coming. Now, on Field Sports Channel, we've always said we are the antidote to BBC Country Foil. Therefore, we don't do stick making. But a few weeks ago, we were invited out by an axe-wielding record holder. We couldn't say no. Dave Sands is a bit of an expert when it comes to chopping wood. It's a good job, with razor-sharp blades flying around the place just millimetres from your toes. You need pinpoint accuracy.
If I'm not working, I'm hunting through the winter months, and in the summer months I'll go wood chopping. I'll go around the country doing demonstrations and shows. Got into the sport a few years ago, but actually learnt the sport of wood chopping when I lived out in New Zealand. See, you take the hair straight off your arms. Several years ago, I was approached about setting a world record. We cut 10 of these 13-inch logs in 8 minutes. It's all done for charity.
Axe racing is a great passion of Dave's, but he just loves the countryside. He stalks deer, boar and likes nothing better than taking friends and family out for a bit of ferreting.
This is traditional Sussex ferreting, yeah, as it's been done for hundreds and hundreds of years. You know, down on the downs you've got the big chalk burries. Up here obviously you've got the shallower burries. These places are a lot easier to ferret. You can be in and out quick. You know, I'd rather ferret the smaller burries than the real big deep burries.
Like so many of us, he's been doing it since he was a boy, and this line of ferrets goes back years too. So what type of ferret works best for him in Sussex?
You see, that's my hob. And there's my Jill. You see, it's quite a bit, you know, look, there's quite a little bit of difference there. Look at the size of the head and that. But he's generally, you know, he's got a little bit of weight on him at the moment, but he's a cracking worker. But he's, you see, there's quite a difference in weight-wise. So that tighter, that can get round the front of the rabbit and tend to turn them out and bolt them a lot more thorough than what the hobs can. You see, if this hob here, he's you take a tube underground where a rabbit's up a blind end. You know, he's quite a big animal to turn.
Eventually, we start seeing the rabbits break for freedom. Lady is keen to get stuck in, and her reactions ensure nothing gets away. There's even a rat.
There's a rat! God, I knew there was a bloody rat in there.
Even Dave's father, Neil, or
Get
should
on
that
it, boy,
be
get on it.
Flash, dives for a rabbit.
That's what happens when you bring an old one.
Dave's axe racing has taken him all over the world, but nothing beats a couple of hours ferreting close to home.
You know, they're so healthy. And this is what we've found all year. That last, which was that one? But grab it, the size of it. It's got so much meat, you know, all across the saddle there, full of meat. Most of them are bucks as well.
Dave has had a pretty successful season with the ferreting. He stopped well over a month ago, but he's been getting some really big bunnies, which his father loves. Everything here is for the pot.
Father, he loves rabbit. He live on rabbit, he would. Yeah, it's quite a lot of pubs like it. You know, they like a few rabbits. At least you know where that's come from. That's coming out of a burrow, and that's healthy food, isn't it?
With one season ending, his axe training season starts. And I don't think we've ever said this before, but please don't try this at home unless you are wearing steel toe caps. If you want to see the full interview with Dave about competitive axe racing, click on the link on the screen. Now, that film featured James Garrett, who is head ranger at Bewl Water in Kent. We went to see him restock his water with beautiful rainbows and homegrown browns. It looks like it might be a good day to go fishing here in the southeast of England. The arrival of 1,500-ish rainbow trout from Bulldog Fish Farm in North Devon is just part of the attraction for the local press and big fishing magazines invited along for a day on the water. Who knows why Nigel early decided to call his business Bulldog? But he has, and he delivers fish all over the country. He says they're some of the best.
You buy eggs in from all over the world, depending on the season, and if you look after them properly, then the end product speaks for itself.
Could you spot a Bulldog Fish Farm trout?
We supply angling water, and one of the wardens up there, there are roughly 5 of us supply angling, and he can tell my trout from the rest. It's a cracking environment.
Head Ranger James Garrett is hosting the day, and with a break in the weather, it's a good time to see if the guys are having any luck. The West Country rainbows are about 2 years old. However, away from Bewl, James has his own little nursery where he's got a stock of this year's brownies.
We wait for the fish to run the streams. We intervene by catching them, and we bring the males and the females back to a facility like this, where we strip them of eggs and milt, fertilise the eggs, put them into trays in a trough like this, and let nature take its course. We had cold water temperatures this year, ranging from 4 to 8 degrees, so it actually took about 60 days before the eggs started hatching.
Heavy sediment in the local waterways cover and kill the eggs, so a little bit of TLC goes a long way.
So the survival rate in the wild is very small. By intervening, we can then reintroduce those fish, which are, as I say, the indigenous fish to Bewl. So it's nice to be putting the fish that thrive and do well in Bewl back into Bewl for the future.
These tiddlers will eventually turn into fish, like these beauties.
So this is a 2-year-old fish. Reared this one from egg two winters ago. Beautiful colours, buttery yellow belly, red spots, gorgeous fish. Absolutely stunning.
Whatever way you slice it, there are fish in Bewl. Some have come along the M4. Others are a little more local. Well, let's hope the weather finally gives us a break and we can really start enjoying the countryside. Right, cunning corvids, Roy Lupton's got a plan. As lovers of the countryside, we like the idea of existing in harmony with our environment, living sustainably, just leaving footprints and, of course, trying to recycle. In Roy's case, he's making good use of a fox he shot last night. Waste not, want not. This is part of his master plan to increase his chances of shooting some crows.
One thing that used to be done when calling corvids in was to put a live decoy out. A lot of old keepers used to put out a ferret. Some even went to the extent of having an eagle owl and put it out in the field, and then the crows would come in to mob it, and that's what they did with the ferret as well. So, as I haven't got an owl decoy, and obviously we wouldn't go to the extent of using a live owl now, what we're going to do is just put the fox out and just see if the crows come in and mob it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to set the fox up just out here on this side of us, because then if the crows come over and they're on the flight line, then they might just pick up the fox, just come round and give us a chance for a couple of shots. So that's the plan. Whether or not it works is a different matter.
For the crows that don't fancy having a go at the vixen, Roy has a few other decoys he's nicked off Andy. He's going to have to work with these until he gets some birds on the ground.
We're not in the position that I'd really like to be in, but all we can do is just set this up and see what sort of results we get. I'm sure Andy would be pulling his hair out seeing what I'm about to do, but never mind.
Finally, we're ready to go, and Roy dons a face mask, an essential bit of kit when tackling crows. Corvids are notoriously cunning. Roy manages to get onto a few with a couple of pigeons for good measure, then remembers that his mum has knitted him a face mask, so he'd better show willing so as not to hurt her feelings. No tittering at the back, please.
We've probably got about a dozen birds on the ground so far, and the fox is working. I've just got it in slightly the wrong position, I think, because you can hear the crows coming in and they're spotting it because they're calling. So they're letting out an alarm call, just warning everybody, obviously, when they see something like that. And where they're coming in, the flight line is shifted a little bit, so they're just looking directly down at us, so they're not actually flaring over where we've got the hide. But I'm reluctant to move the fox at the moment because we've got another flight line developing over on the right-hand side, so we'll see how we do with that.
All respect is now lost for Mr. Lupton, apart from that from his mother. Then he gets too hot and loses the mask, so even his mother hates him. However, the good news is that the fox is working well, especially with the addition of a pretend kill. Unfortunately, the mobbing crows are lost behind the big hedge, which is useless for us.
It's amazing how well that fox is working. I've moved it over to the hedgerow, and the crows are coming up that line and circling it. Unfortunately, the hedge is a little bit too high because they're coming in quite... Not again. Anyway.
Just start again.
Yeah, let's. Oh
dear, Roy. Before we get done for cyberbullying, we'd better move on. As our resident bird expert, why not show us the difference between the birds?
With the rook, we've got a very bald face, so there's no feathering on the top of his cere here, or on his wattle down here, so under his beak here. And the main reason is the rooks do a lot of grubbing about and worming around in the fields. So it's almost a vulturine adaptation, whereas vultures have got a bare face, just a skin face. The rooks are very similar. It's just to obviously keep them clean when they're rooting about in the mud. Whereas if you look obviously at the crow's face, then we're very different. So he's got feathering coming down over his cere and over his nasal openings in there. I think much more handsome bird. But so those are the two major differences between rooks and crows.
We've had an okay few hours. It's not a massive bag, but again, it's not always about that. The farmer will be happy that Roy's there, keeping the crows on their toes. Roy Lupton there with his recycling tips. Now, we were asked by a viewer this week to put together a corvid shooting playlist, which we've done, link on the screen. Next, to the international scene, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting, shooting and fishing videos that YouTube has to offer. In Pigeon Shooting Decoying Turns into Crow Calling Over Decoys UK 2013, Varminter UK gets a touch of the sun and starts to make cawing noises to attract crows. Does it work? Watch the film to find out. Maybe one for Roy there. Let's go to Australia, where Mick Carter is whistling in foxes close. He was hoping to call in a wild dog, so he let this one go. Fox scalps are only worth $10 and dogs are worth $100. In hindsight, he says, I should have taken the fox as no dogs turned up. Moving to the US, and in this quick clip, Craig Canty shows excellent fieldcraft and bow hunting skills shooting this animal right in the head, a hot spot for foxes. Not a perfect situation, he is trolling after all, but Salmon Fishing on the Tay, Perthshire, Scotland 2013 by Robert White shows the happy event, a spring salmon being hooked, played and returned on the Pitlochry beat at Stanley. Moving to Florida, and this really isn't perfect, but it is compelling. Kayaker Jim Van Pelt lands a 100-pound plus Goliath grouper by handline in southwest Florida whilst fishing from a kayak. Now, we love Joe Rogan. He tweeted about one of our films the other day and brought it loads of views. Here he is with ace hunter and TV game butcher Stephen Rinella learning how to granick a deer, or as the Americans put it, gut a deer. It's a straightforward, useful film, and for some reason YouTube has age restricted it. Meat Eater TV goes out on the Sportsman channel and is mustard on meat handling. Sent in by our viewer Norbert from Transylvania. If you want to see how they do driven wild boar in Romania, watch Boar Hunting 2011. It is 9 Inch Fly's wild boar hunting compilation from that year. Again, age restricted, even though they are doing nothing unusual on this film. NHMH writes to me to say, in Finland we use hounds for rabbit hunting, and points me to his Finnish hound in action, putting up a hare. Wonderful sight, but I can't help thinking, hopeless cause. You can click on any of these films to watch them. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, if you liked those burnt offerings, you might well like Schools Challenge TV. This week, we've got top clay shot and Edgar Brothers ambassador Becky Bream on how to shoot straight. We've got Schools Challenge TV news, and we've got the real reason that people not involved with shooting want to be Schools Challenge TV sponsors. Well, we are back next week when you will see that some of our Australian viewers have thrown down the gauntlet, burnt the stumps in their usual way, and issued us with a challenge. Find out more at 7 PM on Wednesday UK time. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button that's somewhere around the outside of the screen, or go to our webpage, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, pop your email address into the constant contact form, and we will get in touch with you about our programme. This has been Fieldsports Britain.